Jennifer here from Belladonna's Botanicals. This is going to be an episode. I haven't done any in a while for the Accessibility Magic series. And I figured now was a good time to talk about astral temples. Um, this is sort of based upon if you have some ability to and are working within doing astral travel, working within astral realms, and even it could figure into doing maybe more upper world work in shamanic journeying, or even deep meditation, or guided meditation type things. And that's working with an astral temple. I did a video interview on this topic a couple of years ago, and I'll link that below with Morgan and Vidi Tradici about it. And it sort of deserved a little more in this series, and now's a great time for me to talk about this because I currently am in the process of moving, so I have the vast majority of my ritual tools and altar stuff packed up. So for me right now, doing physical rituals and spells is going to be very bare bones minimal. Like, I lit a candle and some incense, we're good. So how am I approaching during this sort of transitional phase where I am going to be, spending my time at the house during the week, getting my work stuff done. I'm going to be at my parents' house over the weekends. They're older, not, and they go to sleep at, like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, which might be pushing it for them. Sometimes I'm still awake when they're waking up. So, not really great. Although the house is like, if I walk out the back door, walk through my neighbor's yard and across the street, I'm in a cemetery. So maybe there'll be some cemetery rituals coming up. I'd be like, don't mind me, family. Do you have one of those little trowels that I could use? No reason. So right now I'm a little limited in what I can do physically as far as my spiritual practice while I'm in this sort of transitional phase of, selling my house, buying a house, gonna be packing and moving. There's a lot of literal moving parts here. So a lot of my work is going to have to be done through direct channeling and through working at my astral temple, since I don't really have access right now to work in my physical space. Astral temples are great. If you have if you have disabilities and stuff like that, like for me, sometimes I was joking with a friend of mine the other night. I'm like, well, I sat on the floor for a half hour on a floor pillow for a ritual that took half an hour, and I ruined my entire life. And I had to spend 2 days in bed because I have a lot of joint pain. And sitting on a floor pillow on my floor for half an hour freaking ruined my life. So sometimes when you have those limitations physically and stuff like that, like, we can't always be working in the same way and manners that everyone else is. It's great that you can do a 4-hour ritual, wave a ceremonial sword around, build a outdoor stone circle, and you know spend hours of ritual or days of ritual prep. Unfortunately, I can't, and especially right now. On a good day, it's even a little iffy. I lost half my day today because I have been packing and moving, and because of my chronic pain, which decided to be like, hey girl, and stuff like that. Like, I was in so much physical pain, like I could barely, like, my hands were hurting. I had to take a muscle relaxer, which, as muscle relaxers do for me, knocked me the F out. So I took a lovely 4-hour nap, which I'm pretty sure tore a hole in the space-time continuum, and we're all going to die. Because that's life in your elder 40s. So astral temples, what are they? So I'm going to talk about this on a couple levels, and this is also going to relate a little bit to the visualization magic video I did in this series, which I'll also try to remember to link below. And what you want to do, and this, for me, my background also in the creative arts and also in gaming, like working with, I used to do a lot with Second Life, which is a virtual world building platform, still around, but this was like 20 years ago. So I know it visually and in my brain how to like terraform a space and build and construct everything based upon sort of my creative background and and having worked in virtual worlds for quite some time. So that for me was was easier. And also when it comes to visualization magic, um, I'm also highly adept at that. So for me, those three things made it so much easier to build an astral temple for me. Now, what I use the benefit of having like a point of location in the astral realm is it makes astral like getting out of body astrally much easier because you always have that destination point. You could always visualize kind of manifesting in whatever your temple space might be. So if you're having trouble with that, you can kind of set that up as your astral office in a way. And like a lot of times when I work with spirits, I work with them in my astral temple. Sometimes we go elsewhere. Like when I've worked with Abaddon recently, like there was some stuff we were doing at the Abyss. So excuse me. And having the construction to it, having you want to have your protections also around the space that you're building to, like, you need a key code to for other people to access it so it's locked down in a way. Because I didn't at one point and someone kind of like goo attacked my astral temple. But because like there are things that on the astral realm, like astral parasites and things like that, people can attack you on the astral realm and stuff like that. So it's good to have those protections. Preliminary, what I want to talk about with astral travel, I this is also kind of crossing into the crystal realm for me, is um what I found to be really helpful is to build and you could do this as a grid if you don't really have like the space or the ability to do that. You can also make like a little like what the different terms for like a little gree bag, mojo bag, whatever, with crystals in it, and have that, by or put the, kind of. I did a multi-layer approach to this, so I locked down the four corners of the room with certain crystals. Like you want to use protective crystals. So, like for what I would use red tiger's eye. I would use black tourmaline. Black tourmaline is going to absorb everything. Any of the black stones, onyx, obsidian. You want to go wild, use some numite. That is one of, I think, the oldest stones on the planet at like several billion years old. Very powerful stone. It's one I've just started working with. So, like a lot of the black stones are going to be really amazing at protection. So you kind of want to you can do that with gridding out the corner, like marking the four corners and windows of your room. You could also add some herbs into that. I'm not going to give you my exact formulation for it, so no one can reverse engineer that. But you can use protective herbs if you do like sage. Angelica root is one I use a lot for protection, especially like uncrossing type things. Rosemary. There's probably about 50 different herbs that you can use that are highly protective. I particularly like my one of my combinations I've really enjoyed, for at least on the crystal side lately, is red tiger's eye, red coral, and black kyanite are like some of my favorites for that. And blue kyanite as well. But I may do like a larger crystal video on that, but just mentioning that. So what you can do is you want to kind of have some preliminary physical world protections, because I haven't had as many issues once I started doing these with things like sleep paralysis and feeling and being attacked. I haven't had any issues since I really did that. Now I have what I call a bed crystal grid. So I have like a really thick mattress topper that's probably about like, that's like memory foam. It's like about that thick. And then I have my mattress pad, and then I have, or my mattress, and then I have, I have the mattress pad, then the mattress, and then the box springs. So what I do between the memory foam and the mattress and the little divots, which are under the mattress pad, I think. I just changed my sheets and now I can't like picture they're under the mattress pad. Um, sorry, had to like think there. So what I do with the little divots, I'll mark the four corners with something that's highly protective, like say black tourmaline. I also add other things in there, like you might want to add in like crystals. I usually use the smaller tumbled stones or even small raw stones. You don't want anything super pointy or lumpy in there because you'll be sleeping on it. So putting something in there like labradorite or iolite or amethyst, stuff that's going to be for like your crown chakra and your third eye. Apophyllite is great, although it's slightly pointy. You could throw some Lemurians in there. So I kind of balance between things that are good for your third eye opening and then also having stuff that's really protective to keep any of the ick out. So that's kind of the physical realm. And again, you can use sachets of herbs and stuff as well for protection or for psychic abilities. Like, you could throw some mugwort and blue lotus in there. Or like I a lot of times have I have one eye pillow. If it unzips and there's like a bag that has like flaxseed and you could put like some herbs and stuff in it. So you can use something like that. I think they sell I need to get a new one because the elastic band is wearing out on it. But you can get those on like Amazon, or like at beauty stores. A lot of times, like Ulta or something, or Sephora might have them. Um, so that's kind of like the physical prep. And once you have that set up and warded and all that, you're good. You might want to re-up it and like clear the energy in the room like you would with any other ritual space, whether you do a lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram on a regular basis, or smoke cleanse, or even just using like a protection spray or something like that, or energy clearing spray, that kind of stuff. That's all really good to do. Sometimes energy gets stagnant and stuff like that. So that's the preliminary, at least in my bedroom, what I have. Like sometimes I do like lay on the couch and if I'm taking a meditation nap, it's a little different. But that's kind of my setup for doing like astral travel. So other physical elements I find that are helpful. I have a lot of let me see if I can show you this. Like I have a lot of like projector lighting. Let's see if I can flip up to the ceiling. It's probably not good, but yeah, I have like the projector lighting like that. Let me get back here. And I have some other like little like multicolor sort of table lamps and projectors and stuff. So like I keep like ambient lighting on. And usually what I will do, just because I have ADHD, is a lot of times I will have like binaural beats or specific meditation kind of music or guided meditations even on in the background just to kind of help with that. Just to kind of block it because as I've noted, I live in the city currently, hopefully not too much longer, and sometimes the outside noise can it's like, meditating, someone it's got booming, music on their car, a siren goes by, someone's yelling on the street, and it can pull you out of it really fast. So I'm not gonna go too in depth as to techniques for astral travel. I might do just a specific video on that. I would highly recommend checking out Robert Bruce's work. I think his website is Astral Dynamics. And he does have some free courses on there as well. And he does have some older videos on his YouTube channel. I highly recommend his work and his techniques. That's a little bit on how I learned. Like some of it I was spontaneously doing. Because there is a little bit of a weird kind of there's things that are sort of separate, but also kind of in the Venn diagram, all kind of end up with a centerpiece in there where it can overlap. So you've got the astral travel, you've got remote viewing, you've got lucid dreaming, you've got deep meditation, or got any kind of meditation, just putting that in there, or like trance states, or sometimes if there are, if you're using kind of like sacred plant medicine in that sense for an entheogenic journey. Their shamanic journey. So all these things are kind of their own thing, but they kind of can overlap a little bit, sort of in the center, depending on what you're doing and what your style is. So, how do you get out of your body? There's a couple ways for that. If you're using any kind of plant medicine, like I found for me, like with in the beginning, flying ointments really helped to open me up and to get me in that preparatory state to go out of body, to astral travel, and to do that kind of working. If you're into it and do it, a little deeper. I like the Amanita muscaria gummies. Depending on, it depends on what state you're in. A lot of times you can get them at those like CBD kratom dispensary places, not the medical marijuana ones, but that the medical marijuana gummies and RSO paste. Sometimes, depending on the blend, there was one I had that would just like I'm like, well, and then I felt my soul leave my body. Like it would just spontaneously push me out. So there are things that you can do that way. I don't really have that. I've been microdosing psilocybin. I don't really have that experience with that. I sleep really well though. So, and you can do any kind of bodily relaxation technique, a meditation to kind of get into that state. Some people use, different kinds of visualization. Like, I think one of the ones Robert Bruce uses is sort of like using the silver cord to kind of climb out of your body, or there's also ones with using like a staircase or something that helps you kind of like take the steps to kind of pull yourself out of body and into the astral realm. So there's a lot of different techniques out there and it's just finding what works for you. Now I found when I first started doing this, like I could only literally meditate and whatnot for like 5 or 10 minutes and or do astral travel, like and and not fall asleep and be conscious of it all, like for a very short period of time. And then after a while, and with enough perseverance and practice, I mean, it would like sometimes I would go in and I come back out and then like 3 hours had passed. Other times I will legit just fall asleep. Um, Sometimes I can't do it to save my fucking life. Or I will lay down and instead of anything, fall asleep. Or I just can't concentrate and my brain gets the zoomies and um doesn't happen. And you know what? That's okay. You don't have to be perfect at it all the time. Because Lord knows I'm not either. So once you get out of your body, it's kind of I found to think of it in like the sense of like a video game landscape. Now, if you play like Minecraft or something like that, anything where you're like even going back in the day to like The Sims, where you're kind of world building, where you have control, even if it's just taking a house and plonking it down somewhere, to kind of start thinking about it in that way. So, what do you want in your astral temple? And maybe even preliminary, you could sketch this out or draw, if you're I mean, for me, it might be like just a quick, okay, like I'm going to put an altar here. I'm going to put some water here. I'm going to put a tree here, that kind of thing. Or if you want to, draw it out a little more artistically, you can do that as well. So having an idea of what you want to do for your astral temple. So, I have different parts of mine, and some of it I've added things to over time. There's You wanna have, like, say, a main ritual space that you can use for if you have to do a ritual in the astral realm. So, what you wanna do for that ritual space and you can base it off of, you can make it look like your own physical temple space if you have one, and this is just you can't use it. So, or it's your fantasy ideal one. Like for me, I would love to have an outdoor like stone altar and stone circle and all this stuff. So for and the corners marked with each thing because I can never remember the corner for the cardinal the directions and elements and all that. I will forget that every time. Guaranteed. I don't know why I can't remember it. I just can't. So having that kind of space. So starting to think about your construction like okay I have I'm creating a space that exists inside and outside of space. So how do you want to construct that? Does it have edges? Is there a door? Is there a room? Is it just open but like you've kind of got, I don't know, like a bubble of protection around it, so like not anyone can just enter your astral temple. Um, some people do have shared, astral temples in which, like, if you're working with a coven or a group of people, you can create an astral space. Everyone's kind of got a code, and you go work there in the astral temple that way. So I think it's good also to kind of carry over some of the protections that you have in the physical to kind of meta link them um in the astral. So if you mark the four corners of your rooms with, like, say, just black tourmaline and red tiger's eye, maybe what you do is make big beautiful stone formations in in the four corners. If you have four corners, maybe you have more, or around the periphery. That's all, black tourmaline and red tiger's eye. Maybe that's, the surrounding gates of your astral temple for protection. So, you can lay out different areas. I have my fantasy dark garden because I'm terrible at gardening. There's certain areas within each of those. I have there's a waterfall that has, like, a healing water. So if there's any kind of healing ritual work that I'm doing on myself or on another's behalf, I will do it in that healing water. Um, so I do have some kind of portals to different things, that are in there, like, here's the little tunnel you take to get to the underworld. Here's the little, rift you go up to here, and stuff like that. So there's different access points I've created. One of the things that I like, that I did because I do a lot of energy work, and I feel like this is something that should be, if you're doing astral work, this should be part of your energetic hygiene. There is, I kind of created two sort of, I created a light portal and, like, a dark void portal. So what I do with those is I kind of, especially if I have to do work like abyssal work or underworld work or anything, is or if I'm doing removals or curse removals or a kind of anything with that, is sometimes I will just take that energy and push it into the void energy. So kind of like to clean out the crud, as it were, or anything that might be attached to you, that sort of thing. So if you wanted to do a cord cutting, just take those cords, chuck it into the void energy, the that void, vortex or whatever. So for the light vortex is where you can kind of pull in, like, healing energy, love energy, and that sort of thing. So I have those two sort of energetic portals there to do some of the kind of energetic work that I would do on the astral realm. I found it really good for doing, like, deep shadow work, trauma healing, and things of that nature. I mean, but you could do any type of ritual there that you would do normally in the physical space. You would just construct it in the astral space. So, and the sky's the limit, and you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about cleanup, um, which is awesome. So, thinking about that, like, start, and this also can pull in a little bit of what we did in the mind mapping, episode of the series. I will try to link that below too. And of, like, really kind of starting to think about what all you would need and want to put in your astral temple so that you could do all your rituals there. So you could have, you know, all your knowledge there. You could have all your tools there. You could have everything, even things you don't currently have. Like, I want a 10-foot piece of moldavite, and that's there. So having that space now that I've created, and I've been working with my astral temple now for probably about 3 years. So I don't have to, I know its details. I know its layout. I don't even know if I have it. It might be written in, like, an old grimoire somewhere, but, like, I don't have to think about where I'm going in my astral temple. I just kind of am like, boom, you know, there. Like, it's become part of me, part of my, it's like an ancillary ritual space. So, um, once I start that process of going out of body, I usually land, somewhere, like, I'll pick, like, kind of a res point, like where you would, that was something from uh, when you would log into Second Life, wherever you logged out last was where you resed. Um, Now I can't remember what resolved resolution. Forget what was short for. Um, so you can always use that as a bouncing off point. So once you land in your astral temple, it's like not like you're landlocked and staying there to do the work there. Like if you want to bounce, somewhere else, or go exploring, or go to another realm. You want to go to the underworld, you want to go to the abyss, you want to go to Lilith's realm, things like that. You can do all of that from that point. I find that having that astral temple, that focal point is really helpful, especially if you're having trouble getting out of body, or figuring out, like, once you're out of body, where you're at. And yeah, so that's sort of like the basics of it. Now, you can change it over time, you can add things, you can take it away, you can, you know, well, the sky's the limit here. And it's pretty easy to do. Although if you have trouble with visualization or stuff, like, I feel like I'm a little bit more skillful when it comes to visualization and stuff, just because I have the creative background, and I've worked in virtual worlds. So for me, it's easy peasy to do this. It might not be for everyone else. So start simple. Start with, an empty room. Okay, so if that empty room was in the physical space, how would you decorate it? Where would you put, the altar in that room? Okay, what would the storage, where do you put your tools? Are they all just out? Is there a bookcase? Is there a table? Do you have a stone circle? Are there things on the wall? Just kind of going from there. And it can be based on a place in reality, whether it's something in your own home, something even you've seen on TV, or in a movie. You could make your astral space look like Dracula's castle if you wanted to. It's whatever works for you. So now you've kind of got that aspect. I know I kind of oversimplified that a little, but just kind of going from basic on down, to advanced there. It depends on where your skills lie. For some people, you might be able to, like, boom, and you've got the whole thing created. Other people, I mean, it might take you months to really get through creating that space that works for you, in your most ideal kind of way. So now you've got your astral space. What do you do there? Well, you can do an evocation of a spirit the same way you would do an evocation here. You can do there. And I find, like, for me, I find doing the evocations on the astral realm to be, oh, I mean, I find it to be a little easier. And also, I feel like when you get the manifestation, you're getting a full visual manifestation. Like, I've had physical manifestations of things, and some, sensations with that. Like, sometimes I can feel something touching the back of my head, or whether it's something that's manifesting in the smoke or in the fire, that sort of thing, or however it manifests to you. Not everyone, has the ability to see and hear spirits as well in the physical realm as you might in the astral. So I think sometimes playing back and forth between the two is really helpful, in developing those relationships. I feel like, for me, I've had more enriching experiences working with spirit, either through direct channeling, or through the astral realms. So there was a brief period in time where, spirit, I forget who exactly it was like, or may have been collective, was just kind of like, okay, you're too reliant on working an astral realm, on working in the astral. We're blocking you, so you learn to do some stuff in the physical realm. And that's kind of how I learned how to direct channel, and build a little bit more confidence in some of my physical realm, things like that, because I did get a little more attached early on, to doing things in the astral. But there's no problem with that. Like, if you I mean, if you broke your leg and, we're laid up, it's going to be easier to do stuff that way. Um, so, and I don't discount or discredit rather people's practices if that's what works for them based on, you know, their physical abilities and or limitations or even monetary you can astral travel while sitting on a park bench. You don't need to, or in your, well, I would say while you're driving, but in the car or on the train on the way to work. Um you can do these things anywhere. They're portable. Whereas me grabbing all of my ritual supplies and, heading out to the woods, I would forget something crucial. I'm pretty sure of it. Um, and then I'd get lost and eaten by bears. But just know it was because I was like, oh, come here, little bear. I didn't die afraid. I died dumb. There was like, come here, little bear. You be my friend. So yeah, that's just kind of, I don't want to go too long because a lot of the videos I've been making lately have been getting like up towards an hour. So and yeah. So that's just kind of the little intro to building an astral temple and working within astral temples. I'd love to hear in the comments if you already have an astral temple, like how you work with it, what what your thoughts are and stuff. If you've never worked with it, feel free to ask questions. Hopefully I covered at least the basics to get you started on it. So yeah, you can do anything you can do in this physical realm, ritual or spell wise, you can do in the astral realm. You can do your evocations, your summoning, your offerings, your you can do energy work, you could do any type of ritual, and all of that. So while you may not do animal sacrifice in the physical realm, no cleanup up there and whatnot. So you could easily do that sort of thing up there. So I'm not I'm not really into the whole animal sacrifice thing in the physical realm. So um but yeah, so I think that's it on that. I might do something more in depth. I have to go back and look through some of my older videos because I think I do have some astral travel technique videos that I did. They probably just need to be updated at this point because oh my god, some of my early stuff is so cringe. Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.